Hello and welcome back to the Defined Engagement BookCast. My name is Doug Fine and I'm glad to have you again here today. Today we're going to be discussing with Trish Tagle, the author of Everyone Knows You Suck, Bad Boss Stories, a Succinct Guide. She has 4 pillars in her book, and this is our 4th meeting, and we'll be discussing that pillar, and it's trust. Trish Tagle, welcome back to the Defined Engagement BookCast. I know we're going to have a good time today, and we really are thankful that you're with us. Hello, everybody. We are here for the D.FINED Engagement BookCast. My name is Doug Fine. I have a consultancy in Augusta, Georgia that helps companies, grow their leaders, grow their engagement from their people, get new ideas on the table, and just generally become a better company because of the way people interact with each other. That's kind of my goal. And I'm here with author Trish Tagle, and she wrote this very provocative book called Everyone Knows You Suck, Bad Boss Stories, a succinct guide to bad bosses. If you ever want to learn about bad bosses, this is the book to learn, because she has case studies in here. And Trish, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm glad
Nice
you're
to
back. Nice to be back.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking when I was reading this book, I do teach. I teach graduate students in organization development, leadership stuff. I'm thinking this would just be honestly, this would be a book to do case studies and let those young people that are learning about leadership, let them, take this case. Because by the way, people, they have cases like, let's say this is a case, an experience by someone named Jessa, and she's talking about what a bad boss did to her. And there's John, and there's Stephen, and there's all kinds of real stories that people have told you over the years about sucky bosses.
Yes.
And then you analyze the case and you say, well, this is what the mistake that was made. This is how the employee felt. So you learn about what the employee's saying. You talk about their experience. Then you say, this is the mistake that the leader made. And then how the leader can recover from that or adjust. And one of the adjustments for most of this is, don't do that anymore. Stop doing that. So it's a really good book, you guys. It's available on Amazon. You'll get it very fast. So Trish, this is our 4th episode, and we're talking about a couple things, but they all fall under the last pillar called trust. Trust is hugely important in the workplace.
Absolutely.
In organizations. I don't think if there's not trust, you can just kiss it all goodbye, frankly. And I don't think a lot of leaders give that a second thought when they're lying and when they're dissembling and when they're making false promises and when they're stealing your ideas. There's all kinds of stuff that go on in corporate and of course even in small organizations, but trust is not high on anybody's list. So you're kind of speaking, you're kind of a prophet saying, you got to start learning what trust is. So we're going to discuss today 2 aspects that fall under trust in your book. And one of them, the aspect is humility. And you put a story in your book. It's a bizarre story. It's bizarre.
It is.
And it's a totally up your alley for corporate stupidity. And excuse me. And it has to do with chairs. You want to tell the story and kind of what you're trying to what are you trying to say here with this story about chairs?
Okay, so this was a story that was told to me. It's so ridiculous. So, the person who told me the story, the storyteller, she got a new job, and she was told, "Okay, sit here.
Sit here.
This is your desk. This is your cubicle." But never mind about the cubicle, it was about the chair. So she had this chair, and it wasn't really a great chair. I mean, it was something that you could hardly, it's just a small, tiny chair, but it had armrest. Okay, so whatever, every office is different. And apparently, some high executive, saw her and didn't recognize her face. So he went up to her because he didn't recognize her face, and he saw the chair. And apparently, and he's like, "Excuse me, who are you and what's your position in this company?" And she said her name, and then she said what she was doing. And apparently there was a hierarchy to who gets what kind of chair.
Oh, lovely.
So, yes, if you're a high executive, you get a leather chair with an armrests. If you're a slightly lower, executive, you get a leather chair with no armrests.
Tell me more.
I know, right? And then the next one was the next lower. Okay, you get a cloth chair with armrests.
Sounds good to me.
And then for her position, she just got a chair with no armrests.
That's what she deserved.
And I was just like, you have to be kidding me. First of all, I don't need leather, but I would like armrests. But the fact that somebody went up to her who was a higher executive, a senior executive, and they questioned her about a chair. How petty. And right there, what kind of culture you're in, what kind of corporate culture, and it's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad that chairs determine your hierarchy in the company. And even if you got the leather chair with no armrests, I'd pass. I'd keep my cloth chair with
armrests. Right. Well, if you get that leather leather chair without armrests, you've really made it.
Yeah, you're next in line for the one with the armrests.
Wow.
I mean,
yeah. So what does that have to do with humility? What's your point there?
Well, my point is that chairs, you shouldn't be defined by where you sit, how what equipment you get, what's best for the person, what's going to help them do their job in the best way. And with a chair with armrests, would people really be edified by the fact that they got a chair with armrests and leather and armrests? So for me, it was like, executives need to think about what they give themselves as a sign of seniority. Okay, so that's where the humility comes in. Is what am I projecting to the team? Okay, so a leather chair is a sign of, like, I made it.
You're better than.
Yeah. So again, what are you projecting out there to the people that are working with you, for you? I get this perk. Is there any meaning in that? So humble yourself enough to not do something as stupid as that and give everybody the same damn chair, even if it's just a cloth one with an armrest.
Yeah, you even said in the book, like, this person was at their desk in that chair, the wrong chair, for about 4 days. And if someone was to make the move to go, we're changing her chair, that would be even more sucky than having a chair hierarchy.
Yeah, that's humiliating.
And I wonder if that ever happened. Like, did they change her chair?
We didn't get that far in the story.
That's fine. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to.
I don't even want to know what the company.
Yeah. So, another principle that I love that we share, because we're simpatico in the way we think about leadership and such. Humility is a huge part of being a decent leader, because and there are so many people in corporate that kind of put themselves above everybody because of their position title, and they got there somehow or another. More power to them and all that, but it ends up being us and them. And if leaders, kind of exude that they have superiority, they're not going to build strong teams.
No.
The culture is more about appearances, like what kind of chair you have. Nonsense, just nonsense. What kind of equipment you have, how big is your office, where is your office? It's all nonsense.
Yeah.
It doesn't go to the bottom line.
No.
And probably it just gets people talking, like, did you see the new employee? They got a chair with armrests, the new employee. So then you have people walking around thinking, who the hell does she think she is with that armrest? Nonsense. Very silly.
She got a leather chair with no armrest. That boggles my mind.
So again, you have these bad boss stories, and you could probably say there's some bad companies going on out there that allow these bad bosses. You're very blunt in this book, and that's one thing I love about it. So let's move on to our last really sub what am I calling a unit under trust? And it's
subtopic.
It's a subtopic. How hard was that for me? You tell the story about a manager that remained neutral when it came to accusations about his or her team or his team. And the accusations were unfair and political, which again goes back to corporate. How people can, how politically toxic some companies can be. But this manager, tell me the story, and then tell us what the point is when it comes to trust.
So what happened was, as it was told to me, so it was a very political environment, and this person was, so the person who told the story to me had a team, and then this person was the direct report to that senior executive.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So in a sense, they all reported to her, but the funnel was the team, the mid-level executive, and then the senior executive. Okay. So the senior executive called a meeting and called everybody into the room and proceeded to tell the people that this is from the advertising world, okay? Because that's where I got I can't say most of my stories. That's not true. I've gotten them from government offices too, but in this case, it was from an advertising agency. And she gathered, all her junior members, and she said that, there's complaints from different departments. Now, different departments are strategy, account management, and creative. Okay, so it was in project management, I think, that this person was working in. And the senior executive started talking about all these accusations made against this team. And then she ended it with, I'm neutral in all of this. And the mid-level executive, the person who told me the story, she was kind of astounded at the fact that her boss said, I'm neutral in all of this. It's like, no, you're not supposed to be neutral. You're supposed to be on our side. What did you say in defense of your people, of your team, of the people you're supposed to be defending? You're part of us. You're not neutral in this. So the mid-level executive, the storyteller, basically just started to rant at her boss because she felt so offended, and she was protecting her team. Like, these accusations are not fair because this, this. She gave her reasons. And what it also showed was that the senior level executive was not in tune with her team
Mm-hmm.
because she didn't really know what was going on. So again, like I said, we're coming around in a circle. Peter principle. This person was promoted to a position where she was no longer useful, or she didn't know her job. So she really didn't know how to defend, and she called herself neutral. And for me, it's like you need to be involved with the people that you are leading,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And being neutral, especially in a political,
Slam,
I don't
political
want to,
sabotage.
yes, is not the place to be. You need to make a stand. You need to make a stand for your team. And that's the only way that they're going to trust you, is if they know that you have their back. Okay? And that's the bottom line to this, is this person did not have their back for her to say, "Well, I'm neutral in all of this."
Yeah,
No, you're not.
and the topic is trust. So trust
Yeah.
went out the door when that person talked to their team and just saying, "I'm, I'm just, I'm just here. I want to be here. Let you know that we're getting a lot of complaints, and I'm neutral in all this." It was ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I actually remember being told this story, and it was the person was kind of reliving it.
Yeah,
She was, very
yeah,
animated when she was telling me the story, and I felt bad. I
yeah.
really did feel for her, because, and for her team,
Hmm.
because for them to have seen that and heard that was horrible.
Yeah.
And one way that it could have been handled better
Please.
is that maybe the senior executive could have talked to the mid-level executive.
Sure.
They could have had the conversation on their own, you
Yes.
know, and then maybe deliver the news or not. Because like I said, from the way the story was told to me, is it was political. It
Hmm.
was just this political maneuvering of who's going to get their way.
Hmm.
So, it happens all the time.
It happens
You know,
all the time.
right? Who's gonna have the best story, or who's gonna win the most favor? How can we weave this so we get our way? And it's terrible, because I really think that people should work together. You have the best work when you all are on the same page and work together and share, as opposed to trying to sabotage each other's teams. To what end?
Right.
To create hard feelings. So when I'm in a room with you, I'm thinking like, you're just gonna throw me under the bus.
That's what I was going to say. That's that term might even be starting to be old school. We got to think of another way of saying it. The bottom line is, yeah, throw under the bus kind of
You're gonna
thing.
throw me under the bike. You're gonna throw me under the Tesla.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. The other, my takeaway this also, while we're talking about this, is that I think executive teams, for some weird dynamic, unless you have a CEO that knows what she or he is doing in leadership,
Mm-hmm.
executive teams just love to fire it at each other. So when you brought up that this was
Mm-hmm.
a political issue, and they were just trying to really, they were shooting at this senior executive. They were just gunning for her, and she didn't know how to handle it because she'd probably never been an executive that you kind of start know that you've got
Mm-hmm.
to start pushing back and um, don't
Yeah.
let people throw you under the bus, because at that executive level, I've been there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not a fun place when you have people that you're just trying to do good work and they have other agendas.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
happens all the time.
It does.
Executives just
It
saying,
does.
I want more people working for me. I want your piece of the pie. It just becomes really, really sick dynamic. But
Yeah. It does.
you got to have a good leader. You got to have a good
Yeah.
leader, a good head chief executive,
Yeah.
if you're going
But
to
this
avoid that.
But this also, we can also tie this to that more senior executive she didn't know the work enough to
Yes,
be able to defend her team. And that's something that we talked about in a past episode, right?
absolutely.
Is talk to your people, get in the weeds, figure out what's going on. She didn't want to be bothered.
Right.
So when the other executives came at her, she
Yep.
didn't know what to do. So she was just like, I'm just neutral in this. No, you are not. No, you are not. At some point, when you are head of a department, guess what? You are responsible. You take the bullet. The buck stops with you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't hold that buck, guess what? Maybe it's time to go.
Yeah, or exactly. That's another message that you put through in this book. The other, a theme throughout this book is, and I love it, because you
Uh-oh.
kind of say things like this: you're getting paid the big bucks. You have the perks. You might not even have been qualified your job to get that job, but you have it now. So listen, buddy, this is kind of what I'm hearing. You know, get real and get some skills, and
Yeah.
quit being a leader who sucks.
Yeah.
But because you don't have any tolerance for it, bad leaders.
No.
So
No.
again, this book is a short read. I want to, for the last little thing that we do, I'm going to ask you two questions. You put some terms in this book. Everybody knows you suck,
Uh-huh.
and I've kind of described them as old school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I love this. And here's old school. You talked about someone that could get a reputation or has the reputation of being spineless, and you don't hear that. That woman or man has no spine. But I think you're really talking about that senior level. She was spineless in that
Oh
she
yeah.
didn't defend. She just believed, and she needed to fix it. So she came to the office with that team and just sort of, I'm just letting you know how people
Throwing
aren't
you
happy
under the
with.
Tesla.
Yeah, they threw him under the Tesla. Yeah.
Let's
So
upgrade that term. So it's on the bus. It's a
yeah,
Tesla.
yeah, exactly. It's lovely. I love it. I threw him under my Tesla.
Yeah.
So Trish, last thing, is there anything that we've had 4 episodes. Is
Yes.
there anything that you would like to say about the book that we might not have? We didn't cover everything. We just covered like different subtopics
Aspects,
under
yeah.
the pillars. But and today's pillar was trust. Is there anything you want to say overall about what could you tell me? Is there something I didn't ask you, or something you would really like to say before we close about why someone should get this book?
Well, okay. I think I said this in early episodes. Everybody likes to paint rosy pictures and positive and all that, and I went the other way because to me that's the real world. And although it starts off with stories that are not good experiences for the employees, it's not so much, and I'm going to say this, not so much verbal vomit about being of negativity. That's not what this book is about.
Right.
This
No
book is
way.
about this is the story, this is the experience, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you can be in the shoes of the employee who experienced the story. Okay? And as a leader, what did you do wrong and how can you fix it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So that's really the way that it's laid out. And the title might be slightly misleading in the sense that people will be like, oh God, I'm just going to read all these, it's sort of like a tabloid tell all against some boss. No, this is a book where instead of making the mistakes yourself, learn from other people's mistakes. Don't be the person that when you're walking down the hall, as you pass, people are whispering like, that's the person that doesn't do anything. That's the person that got the promotion that didn't deserve it. Oh my God, all she does is take 3-hour lunches. Oh my God, all she does is leave early on Friday. Because you know what? People talk. You might be getting the promotions, but do you deserve it?
Mm-hmm.
And okay, yeah, take the promotion, take the money, but eventually you're gonna get found out.
Yeah.
You will get found out, and when you get found out at a higher level, it's gonna be humiliating.
Mm-hmm.
So learn what you can now and apply it.
Learn from your people, even. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Don't be afraid to ask them. Don't be afraid
Yes.
to say, I don't know. These are the
Yes.
things we talked about in all the episodes. So if you're just coming on this in episode 4, you've missed a lot in episode 1, 2, and 3. So Trish Tagle, it's just been such a pleasure to have this time with you to talk about your book. Everyone Knows You Suck, Bad Boss Stories. A succinct guide to bad boss stories. Thank you again, and I look forward to talking some more. And I think you are working on another book, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
All right.
And the working title is Optimal Instinct, Partnering Profit with Team Morale. That's a working title. So we have to see how that's going to go. And that's more about who I am. I'm putting me on paper. So it's a little more difficult because it's personal, and it's really my philosophy, and yeah.
I love that.
It'll get done at some point.
Maybe I'll be lucky enough to talk to you about that book.
Yeah.
I would love to, because when you talk about the work environment, what you think leaders should be doing and what you tried to do when you were in those roles, I'd love to hear more detail about that, because you've got what it takes. And thank you again, and congratulations for this book. I hope people go out and get it.
Yeah, I hope so too.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Bye, Trish.
Yeah, bye.
We had 4 great episodes with Trish Tagle, and I'm going to be speaking with another author next. We're going to have 8 episodes with Laura Sikorikoff. She is the author of It's Not Them, It's You: Why Employees Break Up with Their Managers and What to Do About It. If you'd like to listen to more BookCasts, you can find me at anchor.fm or any place else that you get your podcast from. You can find me there. Come to my website. It's D.FINED Performance Solutions, and you can find me at DougJFine.com. As always, thank you for joining me, and we look forward to you joining us again for the D.FINED Engagement BookCast. Bye-bye.